Hey guys, it's me here with your Kid Venture update. I know I keep wanting to say weekly update, but I'm not sending these out weekly, just because I don't want to overwhelm you guys with information or, send something out just because I said I have to send something out weekly. I only want to send stuff out to you guys when I feel like it's important for you to know. And if it's more than like just a quick, simple email, anyways. So we're in the middle of our series called Page Turner, you guys. It's about like epic stories. I don't know if you guys like to read. I love to read. So it's all about epic stories in the Bible. It's really great. Last week we talked about temptation. It was really sweet because Abby and I were reading through her little daily devotional last night, and it also talked about temptation. And she goes, just like we talked about in church on Sunday. I'm like, that's right. Um, so it's just really sweet. This week we're talking about how Jesus is bigger than evil, which, I think kids see a lot of things in the world that they're like, this isn't right, or like, why are people fighting? If you talk about the kids are aware about what's happening in the Ukraine. So we're talking about some of these more epic stories in the Bible, which I love to do. I think kids need to know that God's all powerful and can, overcomes evil. Even though it may sometimes feel a little hesitant to be like, should we talk about this with the kids? Yes, we should, because the reality is these things exist in the world and they need to know that God's bigger than that. I'm really excited for that. And I'll have attached to this email, you guys, the monthly devotional that you guys can just kind of settle your hearts and minds and thoughts around this idea of these epic stories. Couple of things that we need to know. Oh, the first thing is we guys we're in the season of Lent, and I don't know about your background if you grew up celebrating Lent or not. I did not, even though my mom was Catholic. Um, yeah, I actually really wasn't aware of Lent until I moved to Pennsylvania, and of course I was right in the middle of Mennonites and Pennsylvania Dutch and the Amish and stuff like that. So where Lent was kind of like a thing, but we still didn't celebrate it much. All I knew was the day before Ash Wednesday was Fat Tuesday, and so you went and got your Fastnachts, which were donuts. Um, and then you gave something up, and there's always the thing of like, oh, I'm going to give up the one thing that it's not a big deal. So it really wasn't until we moved here to Denver, that we started like talking like with the church and being like, well, really, what is Lent and what does this mean? And I think it's really easy to look at Lent as like this like deep, heavy, dark period because it is. I mean, it's the time leading up to the death of Jesus, right? So it tends to be a little bit more somber. We're Advent, we're both seasons, Lent versus Advent, both seasons we're preparing, but I think Advent's a little bit easier to celebrate because it's hopeful. It's all about celebrations. Lent can feel a little bit hard and it's dark. Even like I was looking at our calendar that the church put out, and it's like I mean, the color schemes, it's a little bit darker than we'd used for Advent. But it's still a beautiful season. I don't know if you guys are following the calendar stuff. If you're not, it's posted on social media. There was an email sent out last week, or you can get a printed copy at church on Sunday if you weren't here this past weekend. It's really beautiful, and it's all about preparing our hearts you know, and the great thing is because we're, like I was just thinking about the disciples, like they were confused about what was happening, even though Jesus tried to warn them, like, hey, like I'm going to be with you still. They're like, they lost all hope when Jesus died. But the great thing is we know the ending of the story. We know that Jesus is still alive. So even as we enter into this season, we can enter into it with a season of hope, but also with a season of like just retrospective and focusing not only within our own hearts, but also outward as we engage those around us this season. So I would just highly encourage you guys. I mean, if you already have a Lent practice that you've been doing for years, this is what you love, do that. But if you're like, man, I've never really thought about Lent, or, like all I've ever done is like, oh yeah, you give something up and you never really like thought about the heart or like really pressed into it, I would encourage you guys to try some of the practices and stuff out. A lot of the things you can do with your kiddos. And then there's some ideas of things you could do if it doesn't work with your kids if they're too young or whatever. Another thing is because we are in the season of Lent. Um, Two things actually. So number one is we will on April 9th, we will be having an Easter egg hunt. We always host one for the community. We've been doing this for years. The only year we didn't do it was right after COVID hit. You guys, and this draws hundreds of people. You guys, our events that we do in the community are such a blessing. I mean, we draw hundreds of people. We have families who come to life with Jesus because they stick to our church, because they recognize that we're here and that we love kids and families. These events, like these bigger events, are like designed for us to reach the community. It's much more of an evangelistic thing than like a family fun thing. I mean, it is a family fun thing, but it's not like, like I look at it for our community and not for our church when we host these things. And this year, you guys, we're going to do something really different. Usually in the past, we've gone to a park. This year, you guys, I really want to do something at the building. And I think it'd be fun to like we're gonna do a glow in the dark or more of a black light party. So I bought black lights and everything. But you guys, with these events, as with everything we do for the community, when we have hundreds of people anticipated to come, is we need help. You guys, the what we can do and how we can reach our community is always limited, has always been limited by the amount of people we have helping. So we'll need because we're doing things at the building and we need things to be dark. We need to, we'll need to black out all the windows and set up all the lights. I think the youth will take care of filling all the eggs for us, so that's great. We don't have to worry about filling eggs. And then because I had to buy all the black lights, I used up a big portion of my budget on that. And so there's even some fun things that I would love to do while families are doing the egg hunts. Because what we do, if you guys haven't been a part of our egg hunts before in the past, is we do timed hunts. So like if you have babies and toddlers, like you'll get to go first. And then if you have preschool, this way if a parent comes with like multiple kids, they get to see all their kids do the egg hunts. And it's not like which ones do I go to or anything like that. And plus, it also limits the number of kids who are hunting to make it not so crazy. And so while parents and families are waiting, we want to have like some games and some, we were thinking, man, face painting, cotton candy, like the whole shebang. Maybe I'll get a bounce house. So I really want to make this a fun thing. But like I said before, you guys, all these events are always get limited by just by the amount of help. So I've created a sign up. If you guys can just click on the link, it has a little bit more specific details about what's happening when for you guys to sign up to let me know how you can help. And then there's also a link to an Amazon wish list if you guys would like to just donate some supplies like some the glow in the dark face paint and stuff like that to help. And then prizes for the games and stuff like that because most of our eggs I think will be dedicated for the hunt. So that's the biggest thing is that's Saturday, April 9th. So that's right before Palm Sunday. Actually, I did not want to do that Easter weekend because that always feels like a busy time. If you're going to be traveling for family or if you have family coming in to have dinner, usually, you're cleaning your house and preparing the food and stuff like that. So we're going to do it the weekend before on Palm Sunday weekend. So Saturday's the egg hunt, and then Sunday, which is actually Palm Sunday. So that's the part of the story. If you guys don't know, this is when Jesus enters Jerusalem, on a donkey, and everybody's waving palm branches and laying their coats out on the road. Um, that's Palm Sunday. We're going to actually do a Palm Sunday choir with the kiddos. So it's going to be similar kind of to what we did Christmas Eve, but a little bit more formal. So I think we actually had risers built years ago. And so I think we're going to actually have kids on risers. It's kind of like a school performance, waving palm branches and then doing some motion. So the two songs they're going to be singing is Hosanna, Praises Rising, and King of My Heart. And this is going to be preschool, elementary, and epic. And I know preschoolers, I know it was like when it came time to on Christmas Eve, we ended up not bringing the kiddos in. Because this is a little bit more of a formal thing, we will for sure be bringing preschoolers in. So those two songs, we're gonna have the kids focus in on, and I'll be emailing you guys directly about that, just because toddler people, they're probably like we don't need to know this, but basically, I think we're just gonna pull all the kids into the elementary room to practice with Brandy, so that they can I don't she'll do because she does her thing. So yeah, so just so you guys are aware, I will have video backup. So if there's like a Sunday where we don't have a worship leader or sickness, illness, like life happens, we're coming up on spring break and stuff like that. So I'll have videos if you guys need to practice the songs in the room. Um, and we'll let parents know like, hey, be practicing these songs, get your kids comfortable with them. Because there's only, I think this Sunday marks 5 weeks out from Palm Sunday. So we're only going to have 4 or 5 times to work through this with the kiddos. So the good thing is King of My Heart's pretty familiar, at least with our older kids. So they're going to so they just really have to learn Hosanna, Praises Rising for their second song. So that's it. So those are the big things that are happening. Oh, and then this Tuesday, you guys, March 15th is our night at Urban Air. I know it's a school night, but it's early. It's 5:30 to 7:30 and dinner's included. So, if you guys haven't signed up, please do. We are asking people to pre-register just because we have to give the not Sky Zone, Urban Air, our accounts ahead of time. Plus, they have to figure out pizza and all that stuff for us. So please come. Please be inviting people. We have a little bit of room still in our kids' night out, you guys. So that's going to be fun. So it's just lots happening over the next few months. And then in May, we're going to be doing a color run for families, which is also geared towards the community. So again, we'll be sending out more dates for that. But if you want to like come participate, invite people, help out as you can, I'd appreciate that too. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys stayed warm during this recent cold spell and snow. So I will see you guys all on Sunday. Bye.